Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome in. My name is Lance. I'm your host today on 20-Minute Trader TV. We're going to get started here in a few minutes. If you're new here, welcome in. Feel free to drop in the chats where you're coming in from, maybe how long you've been trading, what brings you here today. If you've been here before, nice to see you again. Welcome back. We're going to be doing some live trading for you guys. Now, the reason why I'm here, being a 20-minute trader myself, Jeremy Russell, our founder, had wanted me to come on and do some live trading for the world so you guys can see how the pattern operates each and every day. So you guys can get an over-the-shoulder inside look to our system, and then, of course, ask any questions that you guys have. Now, 20-minute trading as a whole, we like to really consider a trading movement, right, created for the beginner / non-trader to get into the markets in ways that they may not have thought of before, right? So our strategy does not require us to be on the charts for hours a day. It doesn't require any fancy software, nor does it require you to learn a very complicated technical analysis style system. We're only on the charts for about 20 to 25 minutes a day. We only need a simple internet connection, and we're just using a repeatable, simple, shape-based system for our style of trades. All right, so you've been hearing about what is 20-minute trader. That's kind of it in a nutshell, but we're going to do a little deep dive today on the strategy and hopefully show you guys some winning trades. If you guys have questions, definitely drop them in the chat. I'll do my best to look at all of those. And yeah, let's get started. So on my charts here, we are on tradingview.com. That is going to be the all-in-one charting and trading platform that I'm using today. You'll see I have two lines on my charts. First off, we are on 1 second time frame charts as well. So very, very quick. But the reason why we're on 1 second charts is so that we can see the very small and precise movements in the markets to capitalize on scalping type trades is what it's called technically. If we're on a larger time frame, like a 5-minute or an hour-long time frame, we simply would have no clue that any of these small movements are actually occurring. So the blue line on my chart is going to be the S&P 500 or ES futures. S&P 500, right, just the combination of the top 500 performing companies out there in the market put together in one price. So that's actually what we're going to be buying and selling. The orange line is going to be the Dow Jones. Now, we're not actually buying and selling the Dow Jones. We're simply just using it to guide us in our entry points. And on the bottom here is going to be called the RSI, or the Relative Strength Index. You don't need to know all the math behind it. Just know that if the movements in the market are stronger to the upside, this white line will be doing what it is now in the top portion. And if the markets are moving stronger to the downside, it will be the reverse to the downside. Okay, so we're in the futures market. Like I said, S&P 500 futures, so it's not Forex, not crypto. We're not trading, direct shares of stocks. Great thing about the futures market is we can make money when the market goes up or down. So we can go long, which means we bet on price going up after we buy. Also can go short. So we're not limited to which way the market is flowing. We can make money both ways. Also, the futures market is open 23 hours a day, mostly Monday through Friday. So we can trade early in the morning, in the afternoon like we're doing now, or we can even trade later at night. So if you're someone who wants to trade with a flexible schedule, trading futures is definitely going to be beneficial for you. So all I'm looking for in my pattern here is a difference in direction of the blue and orange lines. And how do I know if they're going in different directions? I'm going to use my 20-minute trader trend line indicator here, which is just going to show me the average direction of the blue and orange lines over the last, couple minutes or so. So all I want to see is the blue line going up as the orange line is down, or vice versa. I just don't want to see them moving parallel in the same direction. See a question from Wealth Focus Daily here. Welcome in. Who's making money with this system? Yeah, great question. So in terms of like results and past students' testimonials, definitely would encourage you to check out our website on the typical results page. Also head over to our Trustpilot so you can see the real, honest, raw reviews of who is and who isn't, making money with the system. So definitely would advise you to do that just to get a better picture overall. All right, so we're starting to see an inkling of a trade here. We see the blue line going down, staying flat as the orange line is going down. So in my mind, the market wants to push higher. So we're always looking for a trade in the direction of the blue line. So if the blue line is flat, that would be pointing up technically, you know. So I really just want to see the blue line stay flat. All I'm waiting for is a little pop down of the RSI. But I would love to see the blue line stay a little bit more flat if we could. So right there, it's pushing down just a little bit too strong, right? The blue line doesn't really stay flat. So for me, there's simply no entry there. Now this is the end of week 3 on our 0 to payout challenge. So you'll see my account balance on the prop firm account is 49,432. So our goal right now is to get that to 53,000. Started off a little bit in the red the last couple of days, but we've been kind of chipping away to get that back in the profit. So hope you guys have been staying along the journey. This is really what would happen, right? We don't win every single trade. Not every week is going to be, a winning week. And I just think it's important for you guys to see the actual experience of someone starting from absolutely zero and trying to get a prop firm payout. Now we'll talk a little bit more about prop firms as we take some trades. Just want to show you guys the system since that is what you're all here for. So right now we're just seeing the lines move parallel, right? So as that's happening, we're just kind of hanging out, not doing much. We're starting to see them go in slightly separate directions, right? The blue line is kind of pointing down as the orange line is staying flat, but it seems like they're just going to flip to both be pointing up here in a little while. All right, so we're actually getting the blue line up, orange line flat. I'm just looking for a little pop down in my RSI. There it is. So what I'm going to do is simply bet on price going higher, right? I'm going long. Let me get this out of the way so we can pay attention here. So like I said, all we're looking for is the blue line to go higher since we bet on price going long. This line up here is going to be my take profit. So if it goes up there, it will close me out for a winning trade. If I hit the button, there we go. Okay. Winning trade. So cut me off very rudely there, but my point was that if it hit the line on the bottom, that would have been our stop loss, which would have closed us out for a loser, right? Minimizing any potential additional losses there, right? So the profit target allows us to jump out, not get greedy, and think about where do I sell? Is it a good time to jump out? It simply does that for us. Now I did have what's called a preset profit and loss target. So as soon as I click the buy button, those values were already set for me. Now being a 20-minute trader, we have to be in and out super quick. So you probably wouldn't want to try and set the profit target after you jump in the trade, just in case it hits it, right? It just causes a lot of moving parts. So that's why we do a preset profit and loss. So on that specific trade, we made $140 in, what was that, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it was. That was great. So trade 1 was a success. Is there a YouTube channel or similar I could follow and get started on learning this? Yeah, so by the way, if you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, you like the style of trading, you think you might be able to do it, feel free to comment the word more Now, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, we're going to DM you an absolutely free ticket to the upcoming web class where you can learn all about it, get some of your additional questions answered live. And if you're on YouTube or Twitch, just click the link in the description, claim your absolutely free ticket to the upcoming web class, kind of show you about setting up charts, give you an overall picture of being a 20-minute trader. All right, so we noticed that the blue line is now flat as the orange line is going up. So in my mind, that would typically tell me that the blue line wants to go down further since the orange line is pointing up. All right, so all I would be waiting for here in this scenario would be a little pop up of my RSI. If we don't get it and it completely runs away from us, that's totally fine. At this point, right, I'd bet on price going down further. I'd be going short, which means price would go down after I buy. So I'm going to try right here to go short. Kind of hide my orange line here again for you guys. Just going to simply move my profit and loss just a little bit tighter. I don't want to expect too much of the market. Since we're in the afternoon session, the market tends to move a little bit slower as opposed to the morning. So I don't want to overextend myself. So we took a loss there. Our stop loss was right there at the top. So a quick loss there, right? That's why we have a stop loss in those events so that we don't, hope and hold onto these trades. So that's okay. So right now we're currently back to break even for the session. Usually I'd like to take anywhere from 3 to 4 trades max on my prop firm account. And then from there, if I want to take more trades, I'll flip over to the paper trading account. Now with the prop firm, you'll see my account balance is, close to 50,000, 49,400. Now that specific capital, I didn't put $49,000 of my own funds into it. Essentially what a prop firm will do is it will allow traders access to large amounts of capital like you see there for very, very small investments of their own capital comparatively to the capital that they can get. So for example, this account, $50,000 account, I spent $35 to gain access to it. Now it does seem a little bit crazy that someone's giving me 50K, but they're not simply just writing me a check for 50 grand. What they're doing is they're giving me a paper trading account or an evaluation to where they want to see if I can prove myself as a trader, right? So in this first initial phase of our payout challenge, we're not actually able to take a payout from the initial $3,000 that we hopefully make. That is just our test phase, proving to the prop firm we know somewhat what we're doing. If we can do that successfully, then they will give us access to said capital to where we can start making payouts if we hit their certain thresholds and so forth. So the first phase is just a test to see if you know what you're doing. But we see the orange line going flat, blue line pointing up. I just want to see the RSI pop down a little bit, and I will bet on price going higher if we get there. Pretty textbook looking trade if you ask me, right? Making a clear kind of X shape, Pac-Man style shape there. Just want to see the RSI drop a little bit more. RSI is my helper. Helps me get a good entry. All right, I'm going to try the entry right there. All right, so we are betting on price going up, folks. Let's see a nice push up like we did before on the loss. All right, we're going to big push down, unfortunately. I'm going to put my stop loss there. All right, so we took another loss there. So with the prop firms, kind of like I was saying before, it allows you to start these accounts with a low amount of your own capital Now, worst case scenario, if you lose the account, right? So let's say you start the challenge and you fail. How you would fail the account is simply by losing $2,000. If you ever do that, you're not on the hook for the 2,000 that you lost. You're not on expected to pay any of that back. All that happens is that you lose your initial 35, maybe $50 entry fee that you paid, and then you would just pay again if you wanted to try again. So it really allows you to lower your initial downside risk and also potentially increase your upside profit to where a simple $30 to $50 investment could turn into future payouts of a couple hundred, a couple thousand down the line. Now, where prop firms get super interesting is going to be when you scale with multiple prop firm accounts and you do what's called copy trading, to where a single trade would get copied across however many, let's say 10 extra accounts that you have, all in the background at the exact same time, potentially 10xing your profit or loss, right? Could be that way as well. But it allows you to make a $100 trade turn into 1,000 simply by adding more accounts in the background. So we see the blue line going up, orange line going down. I really just want to see the RSI pop down here and look for a long position, betting on price going higher. We've had one win, two losses so far. Pretty clear setup, right? We see the difference in direction. That's all we're looking for, right? Just the relationship between the blue and the orange lines. See if I'm getting a little greedy here. I just want it to go down a little bit more. I try and get myself a little bit of a discount if I can, right? So that I can buy low, sell high. I'm being greedy, folks. Yes, I may have gotten a little bit too greedy there, kind of missed out on some nice upward movement there. No worries. Typically, the trades are going to be a little bit more higher probability when the difference in direction is pretty fresh, right? So it's kind of been here for a little while. At that point, I'd probably just look for a new setup altogether. That's kind of what I was looking for, a nice spike down before the rise up, right? We see how the blue line in relation to the orange line is causing these spikes, right? When you get a drop the RSI, that's all we're looking for. Probably got one or two more trades in the tank here. Been trading for about 15 or so minutes. Really want to try and stress that we're only on the charts for about 20 to 25 minutes a day. You can, of course, trade multiple 20-minute sessions right throughout the day. It's totally up to you. Like I said, it's very flexible. All right, so we see the same kind of pattern again. Orange line flat, blue line up. Just looking for a little pop down. My trusty RSI. Just looking for a little bit more of a pop down. Market's not quite giving me what I want. All right, so there's the little pop down. So now we're just, like I said, we're just going to bet on price going a little bit higher here. Hopefully we can get there. Looks like we're in the red a little bit, coming back to break even. All right, this our take profit is going to be up here at the top since we think price will go higher. We have our stop loss down at the bottom, and we simply let the trade play out. Kind of fluctuating between break even and green, and some red sprinkled in. So we notice that the blue line is actually pointing down as the orange line is pointing up. So I'm actually going to trail my stop loss in the profit, making sure that worst case scenario, I go break even on this trade. All right, so now my stop loss is totally risk-free. So if it goes to break even, which it looks like it did, at that point I am out of the trade, protecting any potential losses. Right, so what I did is I moved my stop loss in the profit or to break even so that I made my worst case scenario to not lose any money. Just because we saw the opposite of what we're actually looking for, right? We see the blue line down as the orange line is pointing up. So that would indicate to me that the blue line wants to go down further. So we don't want to be on the wrong side of that. So all I'm looking for now is just a little pop up of said RSI. All right. So I'm going to bet on price dropping on down. Looks like we may have picked a good spot to do that. And yeah, we have our take profit down below this time. And let's see what happens. This will probably be our final trade on the prop firm, and then we might take another trade on the paper trading account. Definitely been more volume of trades than the last couple of sessions, at least in the amount of time. Yeah, market is moving quite slow right now. And again, if you guys have any questions or concerns, just drop them here in the chats. Looks like we're going a little bit in the red here. Not the result we're looking for there. Yeah, we get stopped out for the third and final time today. Unfortunate. All right, so we're going to log out of our prop firm account. We're going to log into our paper trading account. See if we can get maybe one more setup. But if you guys kind of like the style of trading, although we might not be winning the trades, we can't win them all. But if you like this style of in and out type trading, you just want to learn more, comment the word more if you're on Instagram or Facebook. We will DM you an absolutely free ticket to the upcoming web class. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, just click the link down in the description there. So market's kind of moving a little bit strange. We've been moving relatively sideways with some large movements, so maybe a little bit unpredictable in some sense. Is what it is. Yes, we're not really seeing much here, guys. We're definitely not how I wanted to start in terms of zero to payout, but that's life. Sometimes that's part of trading. Doesn't always go the way you want it to. We may hit the reset button, get a new prop firm account, kind of try again. We didn't fail the account, but we are at a point where we're close to failing, right? We're about halfway. So you might think about which prop firm we'd like to get a new account with, right? The one I'm currently using is called Apex Trader Funding. Many different prop firms out there, but Apex Trader Funding usually has good discounts. And you can have 20 prop firm accounts, which is pretty crazy, with that one specific firm. Lauren, what's going on? Looking for probably one more trade here. End off the week with a win. So what I would want to see at this point is the orange line start to go flat, right? Showing me the difference in direction between the two. Since the market has been kind of pumping and pumping, it would be good to kind of continue that, right? And just be on the winning side. So I'm just looking for that pop down of the orange line. And then we'll be looking for a pop down of the RSI as well. So we're starting to see it. It's just not quite fully developed. We kind of get like the steps out of order. We kind of get the drop of the RSI before the difference in direction there. And they were more so parallel at that time, right? So I'm not super confident price will continue higher. Yeah, new month, new week next week. We'll kind of have a fresh start. We are going to have hopefully we'll have a special guest next week as well. Just going to continue to bring on more and more 20-minute traders so you guys can gain some perspective as to, why they got started, how they've been doing trading, and just any pieces of advice that they have learned. So definitely stay tuned for that. See the blue line starting to go flat as the orange line is up. Now, most times I would say, okay, this probably means the blue line is going to go down, but just based off of how far we've pushed up, it's hard to call the top, if you will, right, of the exact top of the market. Granted, we do get a pop-up of the RSI, we get a nice drop, right? But again, just not the most confident trade I've seen, or at least that I felt would be a good trade. Yeah, market just slowed down a bit. Let me see if we have any other questions here. All right. Well, yeah, not our best session, but it's okay, right? We're sticking to the system. We're staying disciplined in our risk management. And that's all we can do as traders, right? There's going to be bad weeks, there can be bad months. It's just about how do you respond to those bad months. So if you want to attend our upcoming web class, just comment the word more. Send you an absolutely free ticket if you're on Instagram or Facebook. Get some of your questions answered live. If you are on YouTube or Twitch, click the link in the description. Go claim that free ticket. And other than that, I hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. And yeah, thanks so much for coming, guys. Take care, everybody.